Uh, Hello, good morning, everyone. It's time, so let's get started webinar. Thank you so much for attending our webinar. Today, we are focusing on the Japanese chemical regulations. I'm Kenji Aoki of MBIX. I'll be serving as today's host. Before we dive into today's webinar, please allow me give a short introduction to our organization. MBIX was established in 1994 by our founder and CEO, Mr. Yoshihiro Nakazato. We are headquartered in Japan, supported by a regular staff of 26 and 20 associated domestic specialists and an extensive global network of over 60 international partners. We focus strictly on the environment, occupational safety and health, and industrial energy sectors. MBIX actively tracks environmental compliance across more than 50 countries. Our structure analysis spans over 20 core topics. This includes macro issues like climate change, chemical management, and water, air, soil pollution. We also focus on topics ERV, packaging, and plastics related to products. Here are some examples of our clients. Currently, we have more than 170 clients, ranging from consumer electronics giants like Panasonic, Toshiba, Hitachi, to automotive leaders such as Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Mazda. This is a short introduction to our company. Then let's move to the main topic of today's webinar. So before starting the webinar, I'm introducing today's speaker. This time, Mr. Kaminishi will make a presentation. Kaminishi-san, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you very much, Kenji-san. Hello, my name is Masa Kaminishi from MBIX Japan. Thank you very much for joining us today for our CSCL seminar. We also appreciate your continued use of our services, including our chemical substance regulatory monitoring services. Our company is an environmental regulation consulting firm headquartered in Japan. Chemical substances provide significant benefits to society, but they also have the potential to cause environmental pollution. Today, countries around the world have established chemical management regulations to prevent pollution caused by chemical substances. In Japan, the Chemical Substance Control Law, or CSCL, serves this purpose. In this presentation, let me explain the objective and background of CSCL, outline its regulatory framework, and introduce recent developments related to the law. This table maps Japan's chemical substance regulations according to their potential hazards to humans or the environment, as well as the relevant exposure pathways and life cycle stages. Japan has many laws governing chemical substances. This is because regulations are divided by purpose depending on when a substance may pose a risk, through which pathways exposure may occur, and what the substance may affect. For example, the Industrial Safety and Health Act governs the safety of workers who handle chemical substances in factories. Direct emissions from factories are regulated under the Air Pollution Control Act, the Water Pollution Control Act, and similar legislation. Today's main topic is the Chemical Substance Control Law, or CSCL. So what exactly does the CSCL cover? Its primary objective is to prevent adverse effects on humans and ecosystems through environmental pathways. Rather than focusing on workplace or specific products, the CSCL evaluates whether a substance released broadly into the environment may persist without degrading accumulate in nature and ultimately cause long-term harms to humans, animals, or ecosystems. So let me explain the historical developments that led to the establishment of the CSCL. In 1968, Japan experienced the Kaminishi incident, which was caused by PCBs, substance known for their persistence, high bioaccumulation, and long-term toxicity. This incident prompted the creation of the CSCL in 1973, with the aim of preventing environmental pollution caused by chemical substances. Following the enactment of the CSCL, Japan introduced a pre-market confirmation system for new chemical substances developed thereafter. Under this system, manufacturers and importers must undergo a pre-market review to determine whether a new substance exhibits PCB-like characteristics. Only after its safety has been confirmed may the substance be manufactured or imported. This was a groundbreaking system at the time and represented a world-leading regulatory approach. Since then, the CSCL has undergone several revisions. Before explaining the CSCL framework, let me begin with an overview of Japan's legal system. Even among Japanese citizens, few people can confidently describe how the legal hierarchy is structured. Many people know that the Constitution sits at the top, followed by laws, cabinet orders, ministerial ordinances, and public notices. But simply knowing those names does not necessarily clarify their relative positions. This lack of clarity is one reason why Japan's legal system can be difficult to understand. A law is enacted by the National Diet and serves as the highest level rule forming the framework of the legal system. The CSCL, which we are discussing today, is one such law. It establishes regulations, objectives, fundamental principles, major obligations for citizens and businesses, and penalties for violation. The administrative bodies responsible for implementing the CSCL are the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, METI, the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, MHLW, and the Ministry of the Environment, MOE. METI is responsible for regulation and oversight from the perspective of industry activities. MHLW is responsible for reviewing and evaluating chemical substances from the perspective of human health impacts, including toxicity and related concerns. MOE is responsible for reviewing and evaluating chemical substances from the standpoint of environmental protections. Under METI, there is also a public technical institutions, the National Institute of Technology and Evaluation, NITE. NITE provides practical support and serves as a contact point for industry. Under the CSCL, notifications and reports are submitted to the ministers of all three ministries, METI, MHLW, and MOE. As mentioned earlier, the CSCL is designed to prevent risks that arise through environmental pathways. The CSCL framework is built on three main pillars. The first pillar is the pre-market evaluation of the new chemical substances. That is entry management. When a company intends to place a new chemical substances on the market, one that has never been manufactured or imported in Japan, it must submit a notification to the government and undergo a safety review. The second pillar is continuous post-market management and risk evaluation. Substances that pass the entry level or substances already widely used are first classified as general chemical substances. Companies must report annual manufacturing and import volumes and uses, enabling the government to understand nationwide circulation. Using those data, the government conducts screening evaluations. If a substance is found to have high circulation volume and potential environmental release risks, it's designated as a priority assessment chemical substance. Once designated, the substance undergoes more detailed government risk assessment, and its safety continues to be monitored. The third pillar is regulatory measures based on risk assessment outcomes, essentially exit management. If risk assessment results indicate clear adverse effects on human health or the environment, strict regulatory measures are imposed depending on the substance characteristics. Substances such as PCBs, PFOS, and P4, those that exhibit persistence, high bioaccumulation, and long-term toxicity, are designated as Class 1 specified chemical substances. Those substances are subject to the strict controls, and their manufacture and import are in principle prohibited. Okay, let me explain which chemical substances fall under the scope of the CSCL. Under the CSCL, regulated chemical substances are defined as materials obtained through chemical reactions involving elements or compounds. In other words, the law covers chemical substances that are synthetically produced through industrial processes. There are three categories of substances that fall outside of the scope of the CSCL. The first category is natural substances. Minerals and components extracted from natural plants or animals without any chemical reaction are not subject to the CSCL. The second category consists of substances regulated under other dedicated laws. The third category is articles, products with a specific shape or design. Examples include molded plastic components or metal machinery, which are generally outside the scope of the CSCL. But there are exceptions. For instance, if an article contains a Class 1 specified chemical substances, importing that product may fall under CSCL regulation. This point requires careful attention. As mentioned earlier, the CSCL consists of three main major functions. One, pre-market evaluation of new chemical substances. Two, continuous post-market management of chemical substances. Three, regulatory measures based on substance characteristics. Among those, both one, pre-market evaluation, and two, post-market management are considered essential steps for preventing environmental pollution caused by chemical substances. This slide explains how chemical substances are classified under the CSCL and how they move through each evaluation and regulatory step. Rather than imposing uniform strict controls on all substances, the CSCL uses a stepwise risk-based narrowing process. Then let me explain the pre-market evaluation system for new chemical substances in more detail. Before manufacturing or importing a new chemical substances in Japan, companies must submit a notification to all three ministries, METI, MHW, and MOE. For standard new substance notifications, which have no annual quantity limits, and for low production volume new substances, companies must submit hazard information, including safety test results. For polymer of low concern, PACs, submission of standard hazard test data is waived. Instead, companies must provide physical-chemical data demonstrating that the polymer meets PAC criteria. For example, molecular weight or stability. For small quantity new substances and intermediate substances, hazard test data are not required. For low production volume new substances and small quantity new substances, companies must submit use information. This allows the government to estimate potential environmental releases. Next, let me explain post-market management and the regulatory measures applied according to substance characteristics. Under the CSCL, companies that manufacture or import general chemical substance, including the existing substances that were already on the market before the CSCL was enacted, must submit notification if their annual quantities exceed specified thresholds. Based on those notifications, the government designates certain substances as priority assessment chemical substances, meaning they are selected for prioritized risk evaluation. To support risk evaluation of priority assessment chemical substances, the CSCL established requirements for collecting necessary information. Those include 1. Notifications of actual manufacturing and import quantities. 2. Submission of hazard information. And 3. Reporting on handling practices. Based on the result of the risk evaluation, substance may be designated as Class 2 specified chemical substances or other regulated categories. Once designated, the corresponding regulatory measures, such as quantity restrictions or technical handling standards, are applied as required. The substance categories under CSCL may sound complex. Class 1 specified chemical substances are those that meet all three PBT criteria: persistent, bioaccumulative, and toxic. Those substances pose the highest hazard risk. PCBs are the classic example. Under this category, manufacture and import are in principle prohibited. Monitoring chemical substances are those which persistence and bioaccumulation have been confirmed, but toxicity remains unknown. This category functions as a holding area, where the government closely monitors circulation volumes until toxicity is clarified. Class 2 specified chemical substances are particularly important. Those substances do not have high bioaccumulation potential. Instead, they have long-term toxicity and are released into the environment in large quantities, creating significant exposure risk for human and ecosystems. Priority assessment chemical substances are those for which available information, such as quantity reports, suggest a suspected risk. Those substances are under active evaluation, with the government prioritizing data collection and risk assessment. General chemical substances represent the baseline category. Those substances currently show no immediate risk, requiring regulatory action, and make up the majority of chemicals in commerce. So let me introduce recent developments surrounding the CSCL. The first is about the trend toward digitalization of administrative procedures under the CSCL and the relevant regulations. Japan's chemical substance management practices are entering a phase in which online submission is becoming the default. In particular, submission for small quantity new substances have shifted rapidly to online processing in recent years. As a result, by 2024, 96% of those applications were already being filed electronically. Next is the extension of the non-public disclosure period for new chemical substances. For new chemical substances that complete CSCL regulation, CSCL evaluation and receive a notification stating that they have a high safety, the period before the chemical name is publicly disclosed has been extended to 10 years from the date of notification. This extension allows companies to secure a 10-year period of market exclusivity before the chemical name becomes public. So let me discuss an increasingly important topic, the challenges of chemical substance management in a circular economy. A key example is plastic recyclate produced from post-consumer plastic waste. Demand for recycled materials is rising rapidly. But if collected waste plastics contain regulated chemical substances, companies may hesitate to use the recyclate. This slide illustrates the decision flow for determining how the CSCL applies to plastic recyclate. When assessing CSCL applicability for materials made from post-consumer plastics, the first step is determining whether the material qualifies as a waste under the Waste Management Act. If it's considered a waste, it falls outside the scope of the CSCL and other chemical substance regulations, and is instead regulated under the Waste Management Act. If the material is not considered a waste, it's treated as a plastic recyclate. And the next step is determining whether it qualifies as a chemical substance or product under the CSCL. If the recyclate is classified as a chemical substance, CSCL regulations apply according to its regulatory category. If the recyclate is classified as a product, it's generally not subject to CSCL regulation, unless it falls under product category specifically designated in the CSCL cabinet order, such as prohibited imported products. Some of you attending today's session may be manufacturers or importers based outside Japan. This slide explains the regulatory decision flow that applies when plastic recyclate imported from outside Japan is classified as a chemical substance under the CSCL. If imported plastic recyclate contains a class 1 specified chemical substance and the substance is present for the purpose of providing its function, importation of the recyclate is effectively prohibited. If the class 1 substance is not intentionally added, the material may still be imported, but only after completing a mandatory BAT or best available technology confirmation process. One term that may be unfamiliar, BAT or BAT, has appeared. So let me explain that term. The term BAT stands for Best Available Technology. Although Class 1 special chemical substances are prohibited from manufacture and import, trace amounts may still appear unintentionally as impurities. For example, in plastic recycling processes or chemical product manufacturing. If the government were to require those impurities to be reduced to absolutely zero, many industrial and recycling activities would become impossible. Therefore, the CSCL provides a practical compromise. If a company can demonstrate that it has reduced impurities to the maximum extent technically and economically feasible, the government may allow exceptional handling of the substance. BAT is the standard used to show the government that although impurity cannot be reduced to zero, the company has minimized them to the greatest extent possible with current technology. As shown in this table, three substances, HCB, PCB, and SCCP, currently have clearly defined regulatory threshold values established by the government. If those substances are present only as impurities and their concentrations fall within their specified thresholds, and the company has reduced them in accordance with BAT principles, this provides significant practical advantages. Specifically, by submitting documentation to the three ministries summarizing how the impurities are managed and receiving official confirmation, companies are exempt from ongoing periodic reporting thereafter. Furthermore, once the authorities confirm that impurity levels are controlled within the threshold values, the material is not treated as a class 1 special chemical substance. To conclude, I'd like to summarize today's key take-home messages. 4 strategic points. 1. Digitalization. Online submission for small quantity new substances under the CSCL is already well established in practice. This shift requires companies to integrate digital workflows into their compliance operations. 2. Intellectual property protection. For low-risk substances, the confidentiality period for new substance names has been extended from 5 years to 10 years. This grants companies a 10-year market advantage, making it an important factor for future research and development planning and innovation pipelines. 3. Circular economy. In recycled materials, unintentional impurities may be present. This issue requires close monitoring of administrative developments, as regulatory interpretations will influence recyclate utilization and circular economy progress. 4. Compliance efficiency. Even when the trace impurities of class 1 specified chemical substance are present, companies can avoid annual reporting. If one, impurity levels remain within the government-defined thresholds, and 2, reduction measures meet BAT standards. This is a valuable special measure that maintains compliance while reducing operational costs. I hope today's update will support your future business planning. Thank you very much for your attention. Finally, in today's session, we cover the CSCL from foundational concept to the latest developments. But chemical substance management in Japan spans a wide range of topics. To further support your business needs, we are planning additional sessions that focus on more specialized themes. For example, PFAS regulation in Japan. This session would explore Japan's regulatory landscape for PFAS and provide an in-depth discussion of compliance strategies and emerging policy trends. We also welcome additional topics. Our goal is to design sessions that provide maximum value for your day-to-day operations. Please share your preferred themes through the questionnaires distributed today. We look forward to your feedback and active participation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kaminishi-san. And please vote now. You can see there on your screen the vote session. So please cooperation your vote. Okay. Finally, I'd like to introduce how Embrace can help your compliance teams track these regulatory shifting. Actually, most of the contents of today's webinar are available through our service Embrace. Let me introduce three key strengths of Embrace. First, we provide fresh environmental regulatory updates every weekday, keeping you fully informed. Second, we offer wide coverage across major Asian countries, supporting both product and factory-related environmental fields. And third, we deliver unique local insights, real on-the-ground information you can't find anywhere else. These advantages help you improve your own environmental compliance. Embrace Asia keeps you informed with a steady flow of updates. Each weekday, we release several new articles, so you can stay on top of the latest environmental developments. And at the start of every week, subscribers receive a conventional email digest that highlights all articles from the previous week. Here's our targeting areas and countries. Of course, it not only covers Japan, but also many other countries in the Asia. Regarding to the topics, not only the chemical management we have just talked about, but also many other topics like loss, GHS, WEEE, ELV, eco-design, and energy efficiency level for product compliance. And for factory compliance, right side, like air emissions, hazardous waste management, chemical stress safety protocols, carbon taxes, and occupational health rules. And this is how the article looks like. After reading it, you can get most of the key points of each regulatory update. Furthermore, for some countries, we are gathering local information based in seminars or discussion organized by authorities and industry organizations. Such information are valuable to analyze how to comply with regulations. And these are subscription plans we are providing. You can put an order easily through our platform Embrace Asia. Here. And there's good news that now a 2-week free trial is available. Please feel free to contact us if there's a need. And at last, I'd like to let you know the next webinar. The next one is focusing India, and its theme will be a new occupational safety regulations. The date will be scheduled on August 10th. Now you can register on our Embrace website. Please check the website. We are looking forward to your joining. Okay, thank you very much for your time today. I hope you find this webinar is useful. There will feedback form appear after the webinar is closed. We are looking forward to your response. Thank you. Bye.